Hello everybody. I'm pretty much waiting to, well, I pretty much did wait till the last moment this weekend to do this watch list, and that's pretty much because it's been perfect weather outside. I can't reconcile, sitting in the house any more than I need to on a weekend like this, because the weather really couldn't have been much better. But now it's time to get back to work, so, let's keep this to the point. This is going to be me building my watch list. Just taking the top 100 most liquid stocks in the market and boiling it down to a manageable list of 25. Now, a couple disclaimers as always. Number one, I'm not a professional. I've only been doing this for a couple of years. Number two, this is not investment advice. I'm simply just showing you what I do. It helps me to organize my thoughts, and hopefully we can all learn together. So let's actually, before we jump right in, I do want to just give kind of a few things that I'm thinking about going into this week, and they're more personal trading type things. So this last Friday, I wouldn't say it went badly. My A-net ticked up about 1%, and that was able to cover the risk from 3 failed trades that I had. So obviously I got out of them really quickly, but I did learn some things that I think I want to apply moving forward. Number one, I'm going to turn this back on for now, but number one, I am not going to be using volume so much, especially on an intraday basis, because I feel like I just get faked out by it over and over again. Something will come out to a breakout point, it will break through that point, there will be volume coming in, and I'll just think, okay, this is it. I gotta press the button, I gotta go in, it's now or never, and I'll hit it, and then it will just reverse on lower volume. And I'll show you that with Tesla, for example. So I really do feel like volume just causes me to, it just messes me up. And whenever I get that feeling of, oh, it's go time, I gotta buy this, I always get screwed over. Number two, I'm only going to be focusing on daily and hourly charts from here on out, or at least that's what I'm going to try to do. I feel like I say this all the time, but I never have any real conviction. This time I'm going to have real conviction. I'm just staying on the daily and hourly time frames. The 5-minute, it does help me, even the 1 minute, that's usually what I use on these more liquid stocks. It does help me to control my risk and such, but I think that I really get bogged down in the details, and I'm not just taking a more, a more objective view of the big picture. I'm not, like, if I'm not comfortable putting a 3% stop on a trade, if I feel like I need to get out right away if it reverses, then it's probably not a great trade to begin with. And I need to plug this computer in before everything goes down. Okay, there we go. So anyway, those are just a couple things I'm thinking about going into the week and that I really want to be good about and be better about. So without further ado, let's get into the fun part. Let's get into the stocks. So we're starting out with NVIDIA, the top most liquid stock in the market. Still have a relative strength of 90, undercutting the 50-day line. Not great action on Friday, but it's still not panic mode yet, I would say. This is still fairly orderly. Now, if you were holding a position, maybe you would start to, sell a little bit here, because you can always have gap downs. Nothing good happens under the 50, but I'm not writing this one off. This one still looks like it's a fairly orderly pullback. Tesla, this is one that I got caught in on Friday. This was probably my biggest failure, and I'll show you the 1 minute. So you can see we had this gap up, and I really thought that it was starting to go. I think I bought it in this breakout over this level, and this pretty much has everything you would look for in a breakout in terms of volume, in my opinion. It had huge volume coming in, very small volume pullback, another big volume on the breakout, and just more support in green bars. But then it just rolled over, and the bears gradually chipped away, and it just never quite recovered up to this point. So I think that just going off of primarily price action would be better, and also staying off the lower time frame. Here I really thought it was breaking out over this level, but really if you look at the big picture, it was never really concretely over the top of that level there. So, you know, just something that doesn't need to happen. This one could easily rally past that level tomorrow. I think I'm going to continue watching it. And one thing is, because I only buy 4 stocks at a time, I probably need to be a little more picky about the fundamentals. I really don't like the fundamentals on this company. I think that self-driving cars are, I don't think the technology is as far along as people make it out to be, and I don't think it's this life-changing technology, honestly. I don't think it's like another AI or something like that. I mean, I might use AI, but I don't think it's as revolutionary as AI per se. Now, maybe I'm wrong, maybe this thing really gets it right, but I'm a little bit out on Tesla from a fundamental perspective. That being said, the technical action is still good. I still want to keep an eye on this one, and I might even buy it if it breaks out, so I'll put it on the watch list. And I'm going to speed things up a little bit because it is getting a little bit late here, and I don't want to sit here talking about every stock for an hour. So Apple looked good, but a little slow. Palantir still looks very bad to me. So yeah, Palantir still doesn't look great to me. We had this pretty nasty pullback to the 50, and it just has had no bounce. I think it can still get up if it wants to, but I think it's going to need some sort of catalyst to get it off and up running again. I am going to put it on the watch list though, because it's a 98 relative strength, and we like to track those things. Amazon had a pretty powerful Thursday move, and it does look like it's setting up to potentially break back out into all-time highs. Just a little slow. AMD, this is some very nasty action under the 50. You can see the semis look like they're cracking a little bit. At first it was an orderly pullback, but it looks like we're getting a little more selling pressure coming into this one, down to an 87 relative strength, which is not good. And Meta, bouncing off the 50 and staying tight, nothing wrong with that. I just don't think it's something that I need to be in right now. Let me look at this longer term chart here. So I mean, this one has run pretty nicely. So this isn't necessarily what you would consider to be a slow moving stock. Let's take a look at the market valuation, or the market cap. It's 1.89 trillion. I don't really know how much higher it's going to go. Probably one of the more attractive mega caps though. This one I guess I'll put on the watch list for now, but I don't think that's one for me. Google, it's too extended for me right now, but it is trending steadily higher. Very impressive to see from a mega cap stock. So definitely a leader, and I'll put it on my list. Broadcom, this kind of set the tone for the broader market. On Friday, we had a very powerful gap. I thought we might be in for some sort of, follow-through day-esque action, but everything just kind of sold off. It's kind of been the theme of the market. Gap up and sell off, gap up and fade, gap up and just sit there. And this certainly showed that it's not a disastrous sell-off. I don't think that this is as bad. I don't think this is climactic action like we saw in Roblox, for example, on its last earnings. I think, it's definitely not a good sign. You probably will see a little more drift before this one gets up and going again. And overall, I'm not looking to buy this one right now, but very powerful for a liquid name, so I'm going to put it on the watch list. Robinhood, we did see some buying come in on this one. It looked like it was about to completely give everything up. It looked like it was going down further, but this one did show some buyback. I'm going to look at the hourly chart here. So this one, I'm always looking to get in this one. This is definitely a leader. And you can see here, we still haven't recaptured the 50-hour line. I do like to see the 50-hour line trending upwards before I get into a stock off a pullback. It did actually reject here on pretty big volume. But we did see buyers step in. When it undercut these lows, it reclaimed it pretty quickly. So maybe this one can get back up and running, but right now it's probably still a stay away for me. The Bitcoin theme, pretty weak still. Netflix, a small sell-off, but not giving back too much of that move from Thursday, so still looking quite good. It's a slower moving stock, but I'm still going to put on my watch list. And the Bitcoin theme, just not very good. APP kind of shaking out near highs. This does look like it might need some more sideways action before it breaks out of here, but it does still look very good. Yeah, I mean, it's trending above the 50-hour line. Now you kind of see that this is the candle to get above if we want to continue this trend, so maybe we can see some more sideways action, some more tightness, and then break out above that high into all-time highs for AppLovin. So I'm going to be watching this one. Oracle doing better than I would have expected. It really looked grim with these big sell-off red days, cracking the 50 pretty heavily there, but showing some relative strength on Friday. Gapping up, and then the buyer stepped in to close nicely. So I guess we'll just have to see how earnings go for this one on Tuesday night. I'm gonna watch it. I just want to see what's going on with that one. And then Micron. This is kind of an about face. I really thought that this one needed to contract more. I thought it might be ready to buy closer to earnings. But this one just had other ideas. Maybe there was some sort of catalyst for it. Maybe something good came out of the Broadcom earnings. But either way, you can see it kind of change character here. And it just, I think it went into all-time highs, punched into all-time highs. No, not quite, but this one looks like it might be on its way. You do have to watch out for this area, though. There's definitely some potential resistance from this blow-off here. But yeah, this one's looking like it wants to get up and running. It definitely was one of the stronger stocks in the market on Friday, so we'll keep an eye on this one. And I should mention with Micron, it does seem like the AI peripherals infrastructure names, while the semis aren't doing super well, these peripheral type names like MU, ANET, ALAB, they all seem to be holding up a little bit better, and some even showing some strength. So just something to think about. Big ugly sell-off for the bank here. Not sure if that has something to do with the jobs report or what, but not great. Alibaba. Thursday did not look good, but I did mention that even though it was a bad day for this stock on Thursday, it did not undercut these lows, so it was still alive, and it was able to bounce. So now I think we're just kind of looking for this one to maybe tighten up and then crack this level. Now, I don't think I'll buy this one just because the gap's too much. It feels like you're getting a very small amount of exposure of the move, like a really small window of opportunity. You can see how much this one likes to gap around when it moves, and I'm just not comfortable with that. So it does look great. The setup is awesome, but probably not going to buy it. SoFi continues to grind higher. This one kind of defies all expectations. It's gotten very, very messy, but buy now, pay later, right? And Reddit. This one is another one that faked me out on Friday. Now, it closed all right, so you're probably thinking, how did you lose money in this one? Well, that's because I kept my risk very tight. You can see that things kind of picked up at the end of the day there, though. What? I think I got caught right here, and this is where volume got me, because I saw this humongous, buying volume. This was right pretty much where the resistance was, and it popped above on huge volume, so I was like, okay, it's not the cleanest setup, but I think this thing's gonna go, and then it just dumped. And looking back on it, I feel so silly, and really the only reason that I made this trade is because of the big volume that came in. But even though it showed as buying volume, that's probably just people dumping their shares as it got, well, really what it was is there's probably a really big sell order at this level, and it just hit into that. People were willing to buy at those higher prices, so it just got absorbed by that sell order and got rejected back down. So definitely not a good trade by me. I had very small risk on it, but still I just need to avoid that kind of thing. You can see on the hourly there's a very clear spot around here, which makes sense because that's where this gap down started. So, you've still got some pretty tough resistance spots in this one, but if we do just kind of get tight back here, I think it could definitely continue up into all-time highs. GAV starting to show a little more stabilization. I'm still not feeling great about this one after this gap down on high volume. And it's just kind of stuck underneath the 50 right now, so not an ideal spot for this one to be in. Now, if it starts moving again to the upside, you're going to say, why didn't I buy it down here? But we really don't know what's going to happen. I think that Trump kind of came out against, wind turbines, and that's a big part of their business. I think nuclear might be an aspect of this one as well, but certainly if the clean energy thing is under attack, then this one could show some selling pressure, so I think that's what's going on with this one. Still, it's a great, powerful stock, so I'm going to keep it on the watch list. Spotify, kind of in that subscriptions group, and this one looks like it could be forming up to go higher, just like Netflix. These don't really have like the huge runs. They more like make these little base on base kind of actions, and then they kind of grind up. Netflix is definitely a cleaner mover than this one. This one does seem to move a little bit faster though. And I would also put DoorDash in this category. Snowflake had a disaster Thursday. It did reclaim though. It's still sitting kind of near those lows. This one, I think there's probably better things in the software AI space, but I am going to keep it on my radar. HIMS, I don't mess around with this one. Honestly, I can see myself, well, I can't see myself doing this, but I can see this being a potentially good short if it bounces off the 50 to the downside. The only issue is that there could be great news and this one could fly back up, so there's just a lot of risk in this one on both sides of the ball. Home Depot, I said it looked good, and now it's off to the races, apparently. This just isn't the kind of name that I want to be in, though. I think I'd probably just rather be parked in cash than go into one of these staple names, just so I can be more reactive to the growth names. Citigroup, coming under some selling pressure like we have seen with the banks. This one probably is the best looking bank, but kind of getting turned away at highs here a couple times. Is coming into a very small range here, so we'll have to see what happens with this one. Arista Networks, this is the only one that I own right now. I'm up about 1% on it, but that's pretty much been wiped out by some of the tries that I've made. That is the thing, though, that I do like about keeping my risk really tight is, yeah, I'm wrong most of the time, but excuse me, even though I'm wrong most of the time, one good trade's gonna rewrite most of those sins. Like, this one barely went up, and it made up for all three failed trades I had on Friday. So this one I think held up better than most during kind of the pullback on Friday. It still looks very good. I don't know if we're going to come back to retest this level, but if it does, I think I'm willing to just hold on to this one for a while, and maybe I should try and get some gains in this one before I take more positions. Caterpillar, this one looks pretty good, I have to say. It's a little bit of a slower mover, I do think, so probably not for me. That being said, if you bought it down here, you'd have a double. But we can say that about a lot of stocks. But this one does look okay. It seems to be riding this 50 nicely. It's just probably not for me. Roblox, I did talk about the blow-off climactic action in this one, which makes me quite bearish on it. But it has been trying to rally. We'll see if it can bounce off some of these shorter-term moving averages and turn back up. I certainly wouldn't be completely surprised, but I'm just bearish on this one because of the climactic action, and I'm also bearish on this one because I don't love the business model, and there seems to be a lot of sketchy things happening on Roblox. But I will watch it. And I want to see how much we have left here. Okay, we're only about halfway, so I need to speed things up. Mongo database. This one tried to break out of this range on Friday, kind of came back in with the market. That being said, it's looking quite strong. GE Aerospace, it sounds like they're getting into some of those more like, I don't want to say speculative, but some of those more advanced flying technologies, which gives this one a little bit of a more exciting edge. So maybe we can pick up the pace on this one a little bit more. Shopify, this is one of my favorite options. I did also try this one on Friday, but it was one of my most short-lived tries. Basically, I noticed that most stocks were holding up, to the bottom of their gap, so I just bought it down there because I liked the stock and the setup so much. But after like a couple minutes of sitting around, I realized that there was no good reason to buy it right there, so I just got rid of it. But yeah, this one, I definitely love the setup here. I do think that it would be prudent to wait for a pullback to one of the shorter term moving averages, either on the daily or on the hourly chart before you get in there, but this one does look phenomenal. ASML coming alive, maybe. Really didn't participate in the great run that semis have had recently, so this one's certainly not going on the watch list. Asteria Labs, this one I probably won't buy this one because I am already in the AI peripheral space with the ANET. That being said, this one could definitely be quite high powered if it gets off and running. Shook out a little bit on Friday. I don't think that it's tight enough to break this level yet, but it, sometimes things just defy our expectations. Carvana kind of cinching up here. I'm not quite set on this one working yet, especially after this big sell-off on these earnings. That being said, it is getting quite tight here. This one could be some diversification into non-AI type names. Oklo, moving and shaking and gyrating. This one coming down to the 50. I don't think I'll get in on it here, but if you were going to get in on it, you probably want to be watching carefully. Make sure everything's still going here. Well, that's okay. And we've got CyberArk. This one is just kind of a derivative of PanW's price, so this one is a stay away from me. CLS, this one. The thing about doing price times volume for your liquidity scans is that sometimes either the volume goes up and that's what pulls it into the scan, or the price just goes up and it pulls it into the scan. This one, the price has run up quite substantially. It's definitely a liquid name. This one does fall into, I would say, the ANET, A-Lab, CRDO type peripherals camp. I think it's more of like a project management thing. I'm not quite 100% sure, but yeah, this one is definitely a little too extended for me to buy into, but it's very, very strong stock, definitely a leader. And we can do a little bit of research here. electronics manufacturing, product life cycle solutions. Okay, let's see what their latest innovations are. So I guess it's like just boosting efficiency in this manufacturing space for semiconductors and stuff. Okay, it's not really something I'm knowledgeable about, it's just good to have a general idea of what exactly they do. So this one, yeah, I will add it to my watch list because it's a leader, but probably not a great place for an entry yet. Rocket Lab, kind of the expected rally. This one I'm not going to probably touch it with a 10-foot pole until it can break through this horrible sell-off here. And VRT, I think there's better things in the AI space. C Limited, this has been a leader. I think it's a Singapore stock, and you can see it's held up quite well through the time when a lot of American stocks have been correcting. Now this one, I don't think it's for me just because, well, it really hasn't run that far yet. So this one, I don't know, I mean, it moves a lot more nicely than Alibaba, but it's been kind of choppy, it's been kind of sloppy. I can see this one getting swatted back down pretty easily. But, I don't know, maybe I'll look for an hourly entry on this one, I'm not quite sure, but I will put it on the watch list. And then DoorDash, I kind of mentioned this one along with Spotify and Netflix. Just kind of trying to pop back up and recapture a run with these subscription type stocks. So I'll keep this one on the watch list. It does look pretty good, getting tight here around the 50, so we'll see if it can come up and start to make some noise again. And that brings us back to NVIDIA. So that is our 100 stocks there. Let's go ahead and let's see how many we have on our blue list. And we got 30 on the blue list, so obviously I went a little bit overboard there. Yeah, the past 2 times I've kept it down to 25, which is what I want. I'm going to take off Oklo because I don't see myself trading that. Rocket Lab, I don't see myself trading that in the short term. Roblox, I don't see myself trading that. What else do we want to kick off? I don't see myself trading SoFi where it's at. Sorry. And what else? I think we're down to 26. Yeah, one more has got to go. We just can't have our watch list being too long. Let's remove... Let us remove Citigroup. I don't know, I kind of like to have a little bit of variety on here. Let us remove maybe Netflix. You know, am I gonna get a big run out of Netflix? Could. Dang guys, it's a hard conversation. Let's take off Meta. I don't think I'm gonna buy Meta. Actually, let's take off. Sorry, this is a lot of indecision on my part. Would I possibly buy Google tomorrow? No, there's no way I would buy it up here. Okay, so that makes 25. So there we are. That's the watch list. I thank you guys for watching. And yeah, let's kill it in this upcoming week if the opportunities present themselves. Otherwise, let's be careful, let's be smart, and let's stick to the things that we say we're going to do. That's a big note for me, myself, and I. So I'm going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to keep the stream running for a couple of seconds just so it doesn't cut off early. But I'll see you in the next one, and thank you.